that time of the day when we go live. Oh yes, not only are we live, but we're gonna cover the best ways you can break out of the box, Pentatonic box. And these are my favorite ways of adding color and just variation and I would say professionality to your blues box, because when you're in control of those extra colors, that's when you can start sounding different from the competition. So this is definitely one of my favorite topics, and we're gonna start in, well, 19 minutes. So if you're watching the replay, forward 19 minutes and we'll get rolling. And for you other people who are here right now, hi there, I'm Christopher Dahl, good to see you. Yesterday I made a little mistake and I didn't broadcast to my Facebook page. Instead, I did it to my personal page. So you guys missed yesterday's lesson, which was pretty cool, covering my favorite scales. But you can always go to my personal profile, Christopher Dahl, and you're gonna find the video, or just on YouTube or Instagram, where everything is. Cool, Dead Man's Wife is awake now, awesome. So are you in the US or where are you? I know that my times are not always that convenient for people in the US, but yeah, can't please everybody. Amos, what's up? So just as with yesterday, I feel a need to warm up so I can show you guys both, some inspirational playing as well as instructional stuff. I think those two should go hand in hand because you're never really inspired to learn unless you're also inspired to play. So I try to do both here. Hey, Mr. Steve Guitarist, what's up? Okay, so here is what I'll be playing over, and yeah, I'm gonna be warming up. New York, okay, what time is it in New York? I'm in Stockholm, Sweden, and it's 11 right before lunch here. So it's a good time. Haha, too fast. One more time. Yeah, we got my man Christian Newman from YouTube. Good to see you again, man, and thanks for all the supportive comments. Yeah, Amos from Instagram, what's up? Okay, Dead Man's Wife, so it's pretty early. Good to see you. Mr. Steve, first time you watch me live, that's awesome. Yod guitars, have you tried line 6? No. I stopped using line 6 back in the pod days when they never updated their algorithm. I just didn't have the patience with them. The New Wild World, what's up? First time we meet, that's awesome, man. Good to catch you. João from Portugal, Instagram, what's up? From Germany, wie geht's? Ich bin ein guter Leute. Und ich spiele Gitarre. Whatever, sorry. My German isn't as good as it should be. German people on YouTube as well. Volume 6 Band. Wie geht's? Ich bin aus Schweden. No French people here? Y a pas de quelqu'un français ici? My French also needs warming up. Har vi inga svenskar här? Do we have any Swedish people? today's topic is pentatonic extensions. I want to show you how you can take your pentatonic scale, the box, and add lots of cool notes to it to make it sound a whole lot better. Thank you, Christian. My German is okay. Geil, I think is a word. I'm happy for that. I don't know. I don't play in a band currently, Volume 6 band. Oh, Chadika on Facebook. How are you doing? I'm from Venezuela. If your Spanish is up, no. Yo no hablo español. Yo soy de Suecia. That's all I can say. Oh, wow! Tu parles français, c'est super! We have a French person here on Instagram. Alors, je suis très content que tu es venu au live stream. Et aujourd'hui, je vais jouer la guitare et je vais expliquer des choses très importantes. Ooh, Andre on Facebook, new guitar, good to know. Batman in Swedish, Läderlappen, that's so true. So still no Swedish people here? Too adventurous. Okay, we gotta warm up our lead chops now, because we're starting in just 12 minutes, and I haven't even started. Merci, Chao. Zhao. Comment est-ce qu'on prononce ton nom? We're starting our lesson on pentatonic extensions in 12 minutes. We want to give everybody some time to join in. That's right. We don't need Spanish now. We'll just speak English and play guitar. That's a tricky one for me to say. Carlo on Facebook, what's up? So Amos, what inspired me to start shredding was probably finding out about Yngwie Malmsteen, I think. Andre, I don't know of a software that lets you get tabs easily. I would be interesting to know if anybody knows about the service that can listen to a song and generate tabs. Is there such a service now? Should be with all the AI going on. So Amos, my YouTube channel is just Christopher Dahl. or maybe Christopher Dahl 1, but if you search on Google for Christopher Dahl, it should be one of the top results. Or you can go to the bio in my link, and or the link in my bio, and there you have all my social media channels. No Reg, thank you for digging. Bersama, thank you. Okay, Andrea, I understand. Of course, for practicing purposes, learning by ear is one of the best things you can do. Thank you, Bersama. Don't do that at home. Thank you, Norek, for digging and playing. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Bersama. Pandor, I can't tell you about the Solar. It was actually gifted to me by Ola himself. But it's, I would assume it's like maybe $700 now. Yeah, definitely some Yngwie in my playing. This has Yngwie all over it. Oh, Noreg, thank you so much. Thanks for digging my stuff. Chao is asking, when did I start playing guitar? Seriously, around 18 years old. But I first picked up the acoustic at 10 years old. I didn't practice a whole lot until I got older. Hey there, Jonas Mandria from the Philippines, Facebook. Okay, I'm getting warmed up. That's good. We need that because we're starting in just 3 minutes. Deban Jabari from YouTube, what's up? Too adventurous there. Okay, just 1 minute left. It's getting hot in here. Namaste, what's up? Shailesh, shout out to you from India. That's awesome, man. How you doing? Sinobo, what's up? Facebook. Ooh, you can hear on the pace that I'm getting nervous. We're closing in. Only 15 seconds left. Okay, so it's time to start preparing. Ow, gotta stretch my back. This is gonna be an intensive topic. Okay, my friends, it is now time for us, that's it, to actually start speaking about one of my favorite topics. How do you make that boring pentatonic box come to life? And what are all the pros doing to make it sound good, so good? I mean, I'm sure you've played that pentatonic box a whole bunch of times. Here you can see it, the Pentatonic Foundation. You played this a lot, but it never sounded awesome. Why? Why is that? What can you do to change things? So this is a big topic, and there are many things you need to do to improve your pentatonic playing. But today, we're specifically going to hone in on a bunch of extra notes you can add to this pentatonic box that we've all played a whole bunch of times to make it sound cooler. And You can find all these scale diagrams for free on my Patreon. There should also be a link below. You do need to register an account, but after that it's just free. And yeah, here they are. Let's start out with the first box here. I'm sure you've seen this one, the A minor pentatonic box. Here it is. If you've never seen this one, play it a whole bunch of times to get familiar with it. The pink notes are the root notes. And to remind you, there are only 5 notes here that repeat over and over. That is why every 5th note is the pink one. That's the root note. Root, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, minor 7, and then it starts again. Root, minor 3rd, and so on and so forth. Can't even speak. That's the foundation. If you don't know that, pause the video and practice that for a little bit. Then we move on to the first additional note. This is a note we will be adding to the pentatonic box, which isn't really one of our 5 notes. However, it is a very common one, and it is often referred to as the blues note or the flat 5. Okay? Now, what might be a little bit new to you, maybe you've seen this note before, but maybe you didn't know that this note can be played in several octaves. That's why there are 2 blue notes there. And we could even add a 3rd one, but it's not one that I play a lot, so I felt these 2 were the most on topic, because this is a selection of my personal favorite additional notes. There are a million different we can add, and everybody has their own favorites, but here are my favorites. And this is the first one, the flat 5. So if I just play the A minor pentatonic scale, it sounds like this. If I add the flat 5, it sounds like this. So that's a whole lot more attitude in there just by adding one single note. Of course, it sounds even better if I don't just play the scale up and down, but if I sort of make it a bit more random. So I go down a little bit, go up a little bit, maybe repeat one note, maybe bend a little bit, especially that blue note or that flat 5 note, which you're looking at right now here. That one can be bent, and you can add vibrato, and it's going to sound really cool. So if you want to try something simple there, you could just, what are we going to do for simple? Well, one thing that sounds really cool is to play on the D string. You can play 5, 7, and then you go down to the A string and play the 6. And this is a good example because it shows you that when you change direction, it sounds pretty cool. Because I'm going up from the 5 to the 7, but then I'm going down to the 6. So if you're used to hearing the scale like this, that's going to be a welcome break to change direction there. If you want to go a little bit more fancy, what you can do is add some legato here. So we're going to play the 7th fret on the G string, and then we're going to hammer on the 8th fret. Then we're going to pull off back to the 7th fret, and then pull off to the 5. So we get... now that's a cool way to just lightly touch upon this super colorful note. And because we're just lightly touching it, it's less intrusive, and we can use it more often in more different circumstances than if we really emphasize that outside note. So this you can add almost anywhere, whereas this might sound weird on some places. But just lightly touching upon it is something I do all the time. And of course I like to expand that. So that I combine both licks. But that is the blues note, and it's probably one of the most common pentatonic extensions. And you also have 2 example licks there that you can practice. Now let's go over to the major 6, or the Dorian note. And you can see it on this scale diagram on the light green dots. That's the major 6, or the Dorian note. Now the reason I call that the Dorian note is because it's one of the most characteristic notes from the Dorian mode. However, it's important to emphasize that we're not really playing the Dorian mode here, because if we were doing that, we would have to add yet another note, which is the 2nd. But this is more like a pentatonic scale with a Dorian flavor. And we get that flavor thanks to this green note that we've added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first just play the pentatonic scale, and then I'm going to play this pentatonic scale with the major 6, and hopefully you can hear the difference. That's just the standard pentatonic scale. Now let's add the Dorian. You can hear there's a little bit of extra color. Now I'm going to emphasize that note even more. And that's when we start getting an interesting color. And if you want to try that yourself, one of the best ways to get that color is to just play the pentatonic scale from the bottom and then bend that green note. So that's a great way to use it musically and get a taste for how it sounds, because we get a good reference point there. We hear a whole bunch of notes that are strictly pentatonic, and then all of a sudden we add a little bit of that color, and you can really hear how it sticks out. And I really want to emphasize that the key to mastering these extensions is not really memorizing them. Anybody can do that, but you're going to forget about them as fast as you memorize them if that's your only strategy. Instead, what you have to do is kind of teach your ears how this sounds good. Because if you understand how it sounds good, then your brain and ears and eventually fingers are going to want to get back to that note. And that's when you actually learn a new note or a new harmony or new scale, when there's a connection with your brain and with your sense of musicality. So don't just memorize the dots. That's useless. Try to find a way to play that note which sounds okay to you. That's how you're going to remember that note. Now, finally, what I want to do is compare this with a blues note. So I'm going to go back to this and play this once, and then play the Dorian note so you can hear the difference. Okay, so we have the blues note. Very nice. Or I could play the lick I showed you. Now I'm going to do the Dorian note instead. So it might take you a little bit of practicing to start hearing the difference, but there's definitely a difference there, and those are 2 very cool colors you can add. Okay, now let's continue, and here's a scale box that shows you how to visualize the combination I just showed you. So if you really want to start mixing both the flat 5 and the major 6 of the Dorian, you could look at this scale diagram to sort of visualize how you would be playing that. And I also want to highlight that we're getting more advanced here. This is actually high-level fusion, but because we've approached it just by adding one note to a pentatonic box we're already comfortable with, you might not perceive it as that super advanced. After all we did was start with the pentatonic scale. Here we have it, the pentatonic foundation. And then we added the blues note, tried that out. Then we went back to comparing with the pentatonic foundation again, but this time we added the major 6, the Dorian note. Now all we've done is combine both of those, and we get something that starts to look like a really complicated scale box, but it's really not. It's just those 2 notes added, and of course, since they repeat in octaves, you're going to get 2 green notes and 2 blues notes. But we already covered why that happens. Okay, let's play this thing. So you saw me in the intro there warm up, and typically I will be adding these notes whenever I play because they're so good, cool sounding, and they're some of my absolute favorite extensions. So you might have seen me do something like this when I warmed up. And now I played exactly what you're seeing here. The flat 5 and the major 6. So there you have it if you need some help visualizing those 2 notes. But it doesn't end there. I also want to add the major 2nd. So here again we have the A minor pentatonic scale, and we've added 1 note, and we've actually added it in 3 octaves here. So you're seeing that same note added on the low E string, on the G string, and on the high E string. But again, it's just 1 note, the orange note here, but it's in 3 different octaves. Okay, so we have our regular pentatonic scale, and we have the orange note added, or the major 2nd. It's a pretty cool note. It's not quite as aggressively colorful, I think. It's actually a more of a passepartout. You know, you can use it in a lot of different places without it really sticking out or sounding weird, which is useful, of course. But I see the real strength of this note in combining it with the 2 other notes. And here is really the magic, I think, of these 3 extensions. Is when you combine them, you get this fantastic combo shape, which is pretty much symmetrical. It's very easy to play, it's very easy to memorize, and it sounds freaking awesome. And you also now have the theoretical background as to what we're doing here exactly. So if we have our standard pentatonic box, it sounds like this. If we add these 3 notes, we get very cool. Now, I really want to emphasize that this is the ultimate combination of playability in terms of a simple shape to play and memorize, and in terms of colorful sounding. You know, this really has a lot of different color in it at a minimum amount of effort, I would say. So I'll see if I can give you some example of licks here. So if you want to play fast, you know, if you can do hammer-ons and pull-offs, this is fairly easy. If you can do like the Santana lick, which is just 8, pull-off to 7, pull-off to 5, okay? 8, 7, 5. If you can play that, that's a classic Santana lick. Then all you need to do is repeat that on the coming strings. Just that on its own is fantastic. I love how that sounds. Awesome. If you can do hammer-ons, so the opposite, like on the G string, 5, and then hammer-on to 7, hammer-on to 8, then you can repeat that as well. So start on the G string, and then you can repeat it on the B string, E string. So yeah. And if we combine that with the Santana shape, we can go up and down in a very satisfactory way. Sorry, my English fails me, but it sounds cool. Or You can repeat a bit more so it's a little bit easier to play. And then go down. So. But just, it doesn't even have to be fast. Just do some bluesy phrasing here. Just bend like we did with the Dorian note, but now you can repeat it on all 3 strings. So we did this with the Dorian note. Well, you can do that with a major second. Or with the blues note. So you can repeat that on all 3 top strings now, thanks to this super shape. Oops. If we combine that with a faster playing, we get some really interesting fusion style playing. Okay, it's maybe a little bit square in terms of predictability, but I'm just trying to show you how you can do this. Lots of different variations. You can play it slowly, you can bend them, you can play fast, but it all repeats on the top 3 strings. Plus, of course, if you know any rock licks, blues licks, you have your pentatonic box there. So all of those work, and you can start combining them with these new ideas, which involves this new shape. So if you can do some standard blues licks, then of course you should start combining it with this shape. And if you've ever seen me or heard me play, I do that all the time. I love that. Yeah, I can't help myself, but it's so cool. Okay, so this little mini lesson is reaching its end, and I'm gonna soon start checking out your comments, see if you have any questions or feedback on this. I just wanna say that if you wanna get a closer look at these scale shapes, you have them all on my Patreon for free. Just need to register an account and then search for my favorite pentatonic extensions. But that's it. I mean, these shapes are not that difficult. It's more a matter of being creative within them. Okay, I think we're going to end it there because I want to interact a little bit with you as well. So let me see what you guys are saying. How is the Solar compared to Ibanez? So I would say that if you compare this Solar A1 to a like an Ibanez RG, the biggest difference I would say lies in the neck. I would say both instruments are super comfortable and they're shreddy and all that good stuff. But this one is a little bit chunkier. It's more of like a flat D shape, whereas the Ibanez RG is super thin. And I used to love the super thin stuff, but now I found that this kind of posture, you know, like where you hold your hand like that, is not really good for me. It allows for a wide stretch, but it starts to hurt after a while. So I like the more natural grip, like that. That's natural for your hand. Just compare sitting like this for 1 minute or sitting like this. It's a huge difference. And that's why I start liking chunkier necks more. So I actually prefer this neck now. Now there are other differences as well. This has Duncan Solar pickups. The Ibanez higher end guitars often come with like DiMarzios. I love the pickups. I love everything about this guitar. I think it's really well done. So yeah. We want some more. That's awesome. Debanjiao. So let's see what you guys are saying. How to practice fast two-note to string without tripping over. Interesting, interesting. So fast two-note to string, basically this kind of pentatonic playing. So one of the key aspects for me in playing this is what is sometimes referred to as the downward pick slanting picking angle and picking posture. So if you want to replicate that, you would start with your pick like parallel to the string or just in a 90-degree angle to the guitar body, like that. I don't know if you can see that. So you would do this. And then, I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me see if I can do that. That would be pretty cool. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can. Awesome. This is crazy. Let's see how far I can go. It's a little bit slow. Hopefully you bear with me. But it is happening. That's a good thing. Okay, that's the maximum. So here's the pick. I think I need to sit here. Okay. So go in like that, 90-degree angle to the body. And then we're going to tilt forward like that. Okay, forward. And we're going to move it like forward in this direction as well. So it's both like, I guess this could be described as downward, and this is maybe the forwarding. I don't know. But it's, you start 90-degree angle, and then do this, and do this. That's sort of my secret sauce as far as the picking goes. And I should also say that some people grip their pick like in a pinch movement, like that. That doesn't work at all when you want to play. So what you have to do is first join your thumb and index finger in a natural way, like that. Okay? Not like in a pinch movement like that. Don't do that. Join them in a natural way. And once you've done that, you're just going to stick the pick in at a 90-degree angle to the thumb. Like that. So again, not like this. This sucks. Instead, join your fingers in a natural way. I'm just trying to show you the best angle here. And then put the pick like that so it sticks out at a 90-degree angle to the thumb. Because this is the natural way to hold the pick. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom out. Once you've done that, you can zoom out. Once you've done that, you're going to find that the downward pick slanting and picking is easier, and I use that exclusively for my fast 2-note per string. There we go. I'm zoomed out. So let's try that. And of course this still requires heaps of practicing, but at least you're off for a much better start, I think, with this angle. Now, everybody doesn't do it like this. Some people prefer the opposite. I think like Zakk Wylde does the, what would that be? Like upward pick slanting. I don't do that for this kind of thing. I much prefer the downward. I think it's a more relaxed posture. And then you can either practice like 4 notes at a time or 6 notes at a time. So 4 notes would be 5, 7, 5, 7, like that. 6 notes would be on the A, starting on the A string, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, and then you go back. This is a little more difficult, so. And then I would say the real magic happens when you combine the 6 notes with the 4 notes. You get something like this. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you loop that, so it's like 10 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now, depending on the beat subdivision you use to play this, you're going to get like a rhythmic displacement or like an uneven repetition. And that's a feature. It's not a bug. That sounds awesome. Zakk Wylde is famous for that, but it's been done by a lot of different players. And I can highly recommend it. Dead Man's Wife. Yes, we have 5 degrees and snow outside here for sure. I'm using a fixed camera now to improve the quality, so I can't show you, unfortunately, but trust me, there's snow here. Oh, Let's see. Is it zooming in on my face now? Let's hope it is. Sometimes it loses focus. I think it looks okay. Okay. Let's see what you guys are saying. Very cool, but hard to get to speed. Now, just as with anything you want to build speed with on the guitar, it requires a lot of practice and a lot of smart practice. So you should focus on the most difficult area for this kind of thing, or for any practicing. Now, I would say this exercise on itself really hones in immediately on the string traverse, so it's okay. You can just practice it like this. But I typically practice a good 80 to 90% of the time below my comfort speed. And that's, super slowly, but super conscious about the motion so that it exactly replicates how the pros do it at a high tempo. So if it looks like this when someone plays it fast, you cannot practice slowly like this. Because that movement is never going to convert to this. Ouch. So instead, what you're going to have to do, even when practicing super slowly, you're going to have to pretend that your playing is like a slowed down version of the pros. So it looks exactly the same, like this. Can you see the small motion? That's key to build speed. Let's see what you guys are saying. Ben is asking, can you give me tips for playing electric guitar? I played 15 years and I can't get fast fingers and picking. Any advice would be great. So hopefully, Ben, you got some insights from this, because I gave you the advice for this specific playing is also part of the generic advice I would give for building speeds. Playing below your comfort speed, be super conscious about the efficiency of your motions. They should be small. They should look like when the pros play fast. So all you have to do is find any YouTube video of your favorite guitarist. Try to find a good close-up of them playing, especially when they're playing fast, because then you slow down the video. You can do that in the YouTube player, and then you can see exactly the motion you want to be using when practicing. You can even film yourself, not to share, just to be able to look back and compare with that reference video. See, are you using the exact same motion? You should be able to do that at a slow tempo. That's going to be, in Swedish we say facit, the correct version, basically, of how you should be doing it. Cool. Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do now is play a little bit of these pentatonic shapes that I showed you, or these pentatonic extensions, and I'm going to play them with a metronome so you can see how I would personally practice this, building speed and just building lines and cool licks that I can use when improvising or jamming. So let's do this. So I'm going to have a little timer there, and that's how long I'll be practicing, and then I'll be checking out your comments and see what you guys are saying. Okie dokie, let's do this. I'm gonna play in the E minor pentatonic box and not in A minor, which is what's showing on the screen. Okay, now you practice a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, yes. And Dead Man's Wife, I agree. The metronome is hard. That's why we got to get used to it. And also, if you don't practice to a steady pulse, you're going to get issues whenever you want to play with another musician or play with a song or just play in time and improvise or whatever you want to do. So it's super important. Oh, yes. We went live. Cool. So, Diban, I'm just putting on a timer here so that you guys know that I will be available for questions and stuff like that whenever when I'm done practicing. And I will start a new practicing set now. And so if you have any thoughts or questions, just shoot and I'll check them out in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with the pentatonic extensions. I need to practice that as well, and it gives you, I think, a good practical example of how you can work on these extensions. So instead of just working or practicing your pentatonic scale like this, you can add these extensions. I'm gonna go outside of the scale. And that sounded like crap, so I'm gonna try again. loud. Cool. So, Deborah is asking, how do you practice? That's a great question because it's actually exactly what I'm doing right now. And I think it's important to emphasize that this kind of practicing is suitable for me after 30 years of practice, and more specifically because I'm kind of honing in on the improvisation part of playing. I know that a lot of people watching this are just aiming to build their shops, and for that purpose, the kind of, I would say, on the fly or improvised practicing like I'm doing now might not be the best choice if you're just trying to build your shops from scratch. So what I would recommend is maybe start with simpler exercises if you're trying to build your shops. And when you know a bunch of different patterns and licks to work around the fretboard, then you can start doing what I'm doing now, which is pretty much combining them over a simple practice beat. So for example, you could rewind the tape and check out some of the exercises we did earlier, like some legato stuff. We did this one, so 7, 8, 7, 5. So that's just a 16th note pattern. And you can move that around in the scales we looked at. That's a good legato exercise. And when you're comfortable with that, you can start combining that with 2-note per string picking, which we also discussed a few minutes back. And when you have a bunch of those at your disposal, and just that is going to take you a lot of practice time, and even more practice time before you can start combining the patterns over a beat. But once you can do that, I personally think it's one of the most rewarding ways you can practice because well, for me, it's just more fun to not be predictable and to not know what I'm going to play when I sit down with the guitar. Now, everybody's different. Some people just want it to sound amazing when they sit down and play over the guitar. I'd rather be unpredictable than amazing, if you see what I mean. Because if I just try to know a few bunch of licks perfectly, I might be able to impress people, but I'm not going to impress myself, and I'm not going to sit down and practice as much. And as a consequence, I'll play much worse. I'll be bad. Whereas if I know that every time I sit down with the guitar, something new is going to come out of it, then I immediately get excited about playing guitar, and I play guitar more often, and I get better. So that's the recipe for me. But everybody's different. I think for a lot of people, the first 10 years, you just want to learn your favorite songs and solos, and that's probably one of the best ways you can practice. But I'm way past that stage, and I was never really good at that. I always knew that I wanted to work on my own style, so I never had the patience to really learn someone else's style. And I think that's a good thing now because I never was able to clone anybody. So I'm not struggling with not sounding like Yngwie because I never managed to sound like Yngwie, if you see my point. There are some fantastic players who sound exactly like Yngwie, and that's, might be cool when you're starting out to reach your goals, but it's not cool when you're trying to build an original style. So I don't know if it makes sense, Deborah. You think about that, and I'm going to start another practice set here and practice some more. Maybe change the practice beat a little bit. Too fast. Slow it down a little bit. Ouch, that's loud. Sorry about that. Maybe I should see if I can turn it down a little bit. Q&A, there we go. Okay, so Deban Jan Bowery, sorry for butchering your username, is asking how to shred on harmonic minor scale. Okay, so that's a good question, and I would say the biggest difference between like shredding harmonic minor comparing to a regular 3-note per string scale such as the minor or the major scale is the fact that we have a major stretch in that scale. So we have this interval, like if we're in E harmonic minor, we can play the 12th fret B string, 13 and a 16. So you see we have this one. That's like the absolute biggest difference. So what I recommend you do if you are comfortable shredding with other scales, then focus on this kind of problem area or difficult area. And before you try to play the whole thing, work a little bit just on this interval. So for example, you could do hammer-ons here. So 12, 13, 16. See if you can get comfortable with that. You can do pull-offs, so 16, 13, 12. And when you practice that a little bit, then you can try playing the whole scale, so you're gonna get. And once you're comfortable with the wide stretch, it's not that different from playing like a simple E minor scale, which would be. That would be E minor, and then we have E harmonic minor. You know? So I would say focus on the tricky interval, and then it's just like any other 3-note string scale. That makes sense. Cool, so you like the sequence of arpeggios linked to a pedal point. Oh, that's true. Definitely Vinnie Moore vibes. It's so true. That's kind of. Definitely, you know, like The Maze, was that one of his early stuff? Really nostalgic about that. He had some really cool, super clean stuff going on back then. That was, yeah, very cool stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do now is actually see if I can connect a little bit of backing track to you guys. Bianca, doll, you are the best. Thank you so much. So let me see if I can find my playlist here. See my channel. So let's see if you guys see this. Yeah, you do. And that's our live here. But now I'm gonna go to playlists. And I'm gonna do here. Hopefully you can see and hear this. Our level okay? Are the levels okay? Can you hear me? I hope so. It's always tricky when you change in the middle of the stream. Cool. So I'm gonna see if I can find a good something cool to play over. Let's do this one first. It's pretty cool. So this is my own backing track, and it's in C minor. And you can see the scale on screen there. Dorian, you played with my backing track. That's awesome, man. It's actually a pretty nice backing track. Can't stop playing over it. You can see I'm using the extensions here as well. There we go. Still super loud. Oh yeah. So what are we gonna do now? So maybe a little switch in guitar and a little switch in backing track. Melodic prog slow. I wonder how this one sounds. So there you can see me doing a playthrough of this one. So D minor. I don't know how this is gonna sound with different guitar. We have an interesting question. We have to pause. Would you rather have a vertical mouth or a horizontal butt crack? Can we maybe compromise? Do diagonal? I like that as well. You know, I'm a man of compromises, so diagonal would be my number one choice. Because then I could have both, you know, but diagonal in two different directions, so it's like an X. That would be cool. You can't have everything you want, unfortunately. But it's a good question, Justin. Hope to hear more from you. Okay, so this was fun. Let's do another one. D minor. I think we need to push the signal a little bit. I won't get the levels to match. We'll see. Sometimes it's tricky. Let's try a different guitar. Dorian, thank you so much, man. Maybe levels are better now. Let's try. Thank you, Nor. So you think the tone is better maybe with the Strats? I don't know. Okay, so you don't think it's better with the Strat. These are actually fake single coils, so they're stacked. Oh man. Okay, cool. So I guess that'll be our little ending outro. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that the scale diagrams and the extensions I've shown you are going to help you. Just to remind you, that you can get all the scale diagrams for free on my Patreon. You just need to register with your email. Hopefully you could see the scale diagrams on the screen, so you can just watch the replay and pause the video, and you should have them there. These are my absolute go-tos as far as pentatonic extensions goes, so I hope you're going to find them super useful. I sure had a lot of fun teaching you this stuff. Big thanks for tuning in. Stay awesome. I've been Chris Vidal. See ya. Cheers.